Me and Caden are back ranking AFL teams' lines. This week, we're doing the forward line. Fair bit of criticism last week on the midfield, Dos.
Yeah, I went hard and I went heavy. So I'm looking to go harder and heavier with this one because there are some just garbage forward lines in the AFL competition and they need addressing.
Before we get into the video, if you guys are enjoying the content, I'm pushing hard for 10,000 subscribers and still a large majority of the audience isn't subscribed. So please consider subscribing if you do enjoy the content. Let's get into the video.
When you think best forward line in the AFL, what team do you think of?
Geelong.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Hawkins is probably in the last year of his career, I'd say, but Jeremy Cameron, multiple-time Coleman medalist. Ollie Henry, the guy that's just flown under the radar for too long and is a genuine superstar. Tyson Stengel in there, all Australian.
Yeah.
Plenty going on down at the Cattery.
Brian Myers as well.
Yeah.
He's, the goal assist king or the score involvement king.
Ollie Dempsey coming through, Gary Rowan. They're just stacked. They are stacked, and that's why they're one of the best teams in the comp, is their forward line.
100%.
Straight to elite.
But apparently I hate the Cats.
You do.
I do.
Worst forward line in the AFL. At the moment, I'd probably say Richmond, I reckon.
Yeah.
Lafau, Ralph Smith. I put Shea Bolton in the midfield last week. He's a bit of a mid-forward, and Morris Rioli.
Great shout.
Morris Rioli I've liked watching this year. Ralph Smith, still young. Got guys like Mansell in there, but yeah, too inexperienced.
So who's their key forward? It's just
Lafau, who's played like 6 games.
What I love about him is he's 6'4", but he moves like 170 centimetre player. Like he moves like a small crumbing player, but he's 6'4". So I'm excited by the size, but it's not Tom Lynch.
Chuck him in, Paul. Make a case for where you think Melbourne should be, and I'll debate you.
Fritter's probably the best medium forward in the comp. I think he's 3rd or 4th on the Coleman. He's kicked 50-plus goals 3 of the last 4 seasons. Very consistent, very silky, very good medium forward. He has to play above his weight class a lot of the time. So sometimes you'll watch a game and Fritter looks like he's getting outmarked and it's like when we do have the big boys firing, well, even if we don't, he's a pretty consistent contributor. And then Cozzy is top 3 or 4 small forwards in the comp. I think Charlie Cameron and...
Rankin, maybe?
Yeah, potentially. He's had a good couple of years. But Cozzy's been pretty consistent over the last 4 or 5 years. He kicks 30 or 40. Well, maybe not 40, but he kicks... I think he does kick 40 goals a season. So medium and small forward. Handy, but you need pillars. And we don't have any tall pillars. I would say... I'd say like an average or solid. I'd almost say average or solid for the Melbourne Footy Club forward line.
I thought you were going to go very good with the way you were teeing up with Fritch there. But
I'd say solid. I'd actually vouch hard for solid.
I just don't think you have any depth down there. We're talking of Geelong's depth before. Like, yes, Fritch very good. Yes, Cozzy very good. Van Rooyen still very young. Got a lot of
young
room
and
to
raw.
Improve. Petty's a defender who's down there. Would you feel stiff with an average forward line? Do you think... your forward line is better than average, or do you think it's a serviceable sort of stock standard AFL forward line? It's probably solid.
I think it's probably solid, but it depends how it plays out.
Put them in solid. So we've got one in elite, one in solid, one in poor, and we can maybe circle back to it. Now, Freo's forward line. Josh Tracy has been a massive improvement on our forward line this year. He's starting to take really big contested grabs. Michael Frederick has sort of got to that stage in his career where he's found his feet, he's matured, and he knows how to bring his strengths. Sam Switkowski, Jet, when he's in, he's just had concussion the last 3 weeks, so that's why he's been out. Walter's getting a bit on. Not many people are big on Freo's forward line, but I feel like now that we've got Tracy in form, Amos back in, Frederick, Switter, I actually think that's a pretty solid forward line.
If I didn't know you... I don't think I'd know any of those players. And maybe it's because they're off Broadway, the Dockers, and they play the Sunday 440s, given they're given they're a per team, and that's where per teams play. But I think resume and personnel wise, that's on paper that 4. It is average.
Yeah, resume-wise, I can cop that. And we haven't scored massively this year.
And maybe by the end of the year, it's one where, Jai misses a name, Tracy's a name, Frederick becomes one of the better small forwards. But I think right now, name-wise...
Yeah. Probably average.
It might be average.
I think potential to be very good. Like, I'm looking at Carlton, who we'll get onto soon, and I look at Curnow. I think Tracy can develop into that type of player, really fearless key forward that can do it all, because he's got all the same sort of attributes as a Curnow, just obviously not as developed.
Yep.
And then sharpshooting, crashing packs, Amos can do that as well, which sort of Mackay does for the Blues. So,
and how old are they? Like 20?
Yeah, both like 21. So very young. I'll put Freo in average.
We might shuffle. We might.
Keep an eye on the Freo forward line is all I'll say, because there's some jets there, I reckon.
Jet.
We just mentioned Carlton.
Elite.
Yeah. Key forwards elite. Small forwards not elite though.
Good call. I agree. You know, I would say Melbourne, for example, have 2 elite smaller forwards.
Yeah.
Versus 2 elite key forwards. It's like you're taking the 2 elite key forwards every day of the week. The
Yeah,
Twin
for
Towers,
sure.
Harry Mackay and Charlie Curnow are unstoppable. If you talk to a lot of Carlton supporters, they do lack that third or that medium tall.
Yeah.
I think they try it with Silvani. They try it with Jack Martin. That's something that they'd love to have in their side. But, geez, you're just taking 2 of the best key position players in the comp. In the 1 forward line is insane.
Yeah, for sure. Potentially going to throw the kitchen sink at Will Hayward reports coming out, which would be huge. So let's go to Sydney. Logan McDonald, massive pickup for the Swans a few years ago in the draft. Joel Amati, Tom Papley. Heaney goes through there. I think that's a lead as well, to be honest. Maybe very good.
I think very good.
Yeah.
Like Logan McDonald's not, Curnow or Mackay. Papley's one of the best smalls in the comp.
Hayward.
Amadi's not. He's not a name just yet, but he competes and does well.
He's an athletic freak.
I think they're a rung behind like the Cats and the Blues.
Yeah, possibly. I reckon it could be again the off-Broadway sort of thing here, because Logan McDonald has been playing some great footy this year, taking massive marks. Like, he's clearly leveled up his game this year. They've never struggled for goals. Last week we were talking about like functionality and that sort of thing. Very good is probably fair.
I think very good, because with the Geelong one, I can see, and I don't know how we're ranking this, but just off the eye test, there's like a couple of Colemans.
Yeah, true.
A couple of All-Australians. I'm not sure, like Amati definitely hasn't been All-Australian, and
yeah,
Logan McDonald, I think he's trending the right way, but he just hasn't had that year where he kicked 60 sort of thing. But
no, that's fair.
Yeah, it's a very good forward line. Especially with the Papinator just celebrating like a madman.
Hawthorn invested a lot in their forward line this off-season, bringing in Marbior Chol, Jack Ginnivan. Gunson came back after a little holiday to Brisbane. How would you summarise the Hawks forward line?
Bruce is a silky guy, but he's old. Jack Gunston's silky, but he's old.
Yeah.
Marbior Chol.
Got Dylan Moore in there as well.
Dylan Moore's a gun.
Yeah.
I love Marbior Chol. I'd love him at the D's, but he's been at 3 clubs, and it never really found his spot just yet. Guinea, he's bums on seats, but he's not a consistent sort of 40 goal a year small forward just yet.
Yeah, I think he will be. I'm a big fan of Jack Ginnivan.
Love him.
Yeah.
And then the Wizard. The Wizard hasn't quite found his wand just yet. I love the Wizard, but yeah, he's just taking a little bit to settle in at the highest level. I'd almost say average.
Yeah, potential to be maybe not very
Jack
good.
Gunson at his best, Bruce at his best, Guinea kicking 5, Dylan Moore applying pressure, the Wizard slotting them from all angles. You're going, this is a forward line. But
James Sicily swinging forward.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's
they're all
true.
at different stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Probably average, yeah. Just because performances this year. Personnel to be, a very efficient.
Yeah, if it all clicked and they all played their best footy, it's like, how are we going to stop them?
But I think that's where the comments get confused in like last week's video when we ranked midfielders. It's like, the Dogs have Bont, Libba, McRae, and it's like, yeah, but you're 3 and 5 and you're getting dominated out of the middle every week. So, like, obviously personnel is a massive thing, but if it doesn't work in a system, it's no good. So.
I go a bit of personnel, resume, prospects, and where it all, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this. We don't just come in here and wing it.
No, that would be unprofessional.
Certainly not what we do.
That.
And we certainly take this seriously. So
chuck them in average. Hawks are going in average.
Are Brisbane as good as Geelong and Carlton?
I think
Danaher, Charlie Cameron.
Yeah.
I'd probably say yes.
Yeah, they've got to be elite. Zach Bailey as well.
Zach
He's
Bailey.
coming back in a few weeks, I think. One of the better half forwards in the league.
Yeah.
Can push up into the middle as well. Charlie Cameron, when he's on, can't be stopped. Danaher has all the tools, but just lets himself down in front of goal. And Eric Hipwood cops a lot of hate, but Danaher and Hipwood torched your boys a month ago.
Yeah, well, anyone who's over 200 centimetres torch us, which is really frustrating. Like, we look small against Carlton, Geelong and Brisbane. That's probably why they're all in the elite category. But yeah, Danaher, Hipwood, Cameron, that's as good a three as there is.
Yeah, Bailey Lohman's looking good as well, the young fella.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll just chuck him up in elite. That's fair. Couldn't stop him scoring last year. A team that couldn't be stopped scoring last year was Adelaide. But they've been hit or miss this season. Real slow start. Starting to get a win here or there. Tex, Fogarty, Rochelle, Rankin. Rankin, obviously, that sort of hybrid role. Fogarty has taken too long to come on. Tex had a massive year last year, but if we're going on resume, he's pretty good. I think he's had a pretty solid year, Tex. And it's probably a solid forward line, solid average.
Yeah, I'd almost say very good. Like, Tex kicked 70 last year. It doesn't look like that sort of form this year. Rankin's one of the best smalls in the competition. Rochelle is sort of stuck at the moment. He's not.
Yeah, second year blues.
Yeah, I'd say.
I wouldn't say very good.
If you said very good, I'd accept it, and if you didn't, I'd accept it.
Would you say
They're not average.
Would you say they're better than the Melbourne Demons forward line?
I would.
You would?
Yeah.
All right, let's chuck them at the top of solid then. Yeah, Crows fans, that could be stiff.
We're doing this in 2024, by the way. So,
yeah. Everyone watching would say the Bulldogs would be an easy one. They've got all the names in there. Norton, Ugle-Hagan, Waitman, Darcy.
Man, it is it gets the mouth watering.
It
a
actually
little
is
bit.
very good. It is very good.
It's funny because when you go and watch a game and you're playing against the Bulldogs, Norton looks unstoppable when he goes near it.
Yeah.
And then he kicks 1 goal 3 and you sort of go, oh, thank God we got away with that. And then Jamara's flying for footies and you go, if he clunks these but then he sort of, doesn't quite take the contested marks. And then Waitman, it's like, oh man, when he zips near it and snaps it from the boundary and it curls in and just misses it. And you walk away from games against the Dogs and go, far out. Like, they all could have had big days, but we got away with murder. And then that happens consistently.
Yeah.
And then you go, is it that threatening?
That's a huge goal.
It feels like they could blow every game apart when they get near at that forward line. They are so explosive, so dynamic, so exciting. And I don't know whether it's a maturity thing because Jamar is young. Norton's still on the younger side. Cody Waitman's, third or fourth year. So maybe they are 20 or 40 games away from being a team that are going to be unstoppable. But I just feel every time I leave a Bulldogs game, I'm sort of going, oh, that was close. But I've never walked away and gone, we got torched.
Yeah. I felt the force of the Dogs forward line against Freo. We were undersized down back, and Sam Darcy.
Oh yeah.
He's a real player. They've got a good one there. I would say solid, very good areas.
I'd say very good.
Yeah, I think very good. Norton, Ugle-Hagan, Waitman, Darcy, all in. Yeah, very good. Chuck them up there. There you go, Dogs fans. Port Adelaide is an interesting forward line to analyse, Dos. You've got Charlie Dixon, who's a big, scary man. Todd Marshall, a genuine tall that you expect to kick 3 to 4 a week, but, fails to deliver sometimes. Georgiades just come back from an ACL, so I won't be too critical of him, but has the world at his feet.
Yeah.
Willie Rioli, Sam Powell-Pepper's just done an ACL, but they have pretty much all the tools. But where do we go with resume and functionality?
I think that looks like the Western Bulldogs forward line if it was a little bit more consistent. Like, I think Charlie Dixon is a bit more of a consistent Aaron Norton. I know, I'm talking about like key forwards. I know they play different roles and one jumps on heads and one crashes packs. But like key forward to key forward, Dixon's probably a little bit better than Norton. Georgiades.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say Norton's better than... I'd prefer Norton than Dixon. I don't know. I feel like Dixon's very hit or miss these days. I think he'll only sort of play 15 games this year.
Yeah, right.
Bit managed sort of areas.
Maybe I'm stuck in 2021. Because he used to get up to the 50 goal a season.
Yeah.
Has Norton ever? But similar model in terms of like 3 genuine tools that contribute and then a gun small.
Probably very good, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon it's very good.
Yeah.
Todd Marshall's good.
Yeah, he is.
Georgiades is good till he did his knee.
Once it gets clicking, the Dogs and the power could be very good. Very elite.
Well, they were in the 2021 prelim.
Yep, there you go. Any other stinkers here? What do you think of North's forward line? Nick Larkey is probably one of the best forwards in the competition. You got Paul Curtis, Cam Zerha, and Zane Durr as well.
Larkey, I would throw the kitchen sink at to get him at the Ds. I love him. He's everything I love in a tall forward. Zerha is, of the mould of Stringer. He's got that power. He's got that burst. But he can be a little bit inconsistent. Paul Curtis looks like a big, strong boy that's coming through. And then I haven't seen enough of Dersma. I don't know, solid? Or is that a bit generous?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put him in solid. Like, they haven't kicked a winning score this year.
That's a good point.
You take Larkey out of that forward line and it's poor.
Yeah.
Zerha, I would say, is like, Jake Stringer on Wish. Like, just doesn't have the minerals.
Do you reckon he'll get there? He could.
I don't know when North are going to get there, so I can't even answer that question.
I reckon he's going to leave.
Bottom of average.
Yeah.
Or top of poor.
Well, I love Larkey. Larkey's really holding up the end of the bargain here. Like, Larkey, if it was Larkey and then, like, 2 more half-decent players, I'd almost say it's
solid. Yeah.
Solid, maybe better than Melbourne's because, like, he's so important. But because it's Larkey and then it drops off really quickly, it probably is average.
Yeah, bottom of average. That's fair. West Coast forward line. Jake Waterman is the most in-form key forward in the competition. He's having a career best year. Jack Darling, quite a frustrating player for West Coast fans. Jamie Cripps, Liam Ryan, Campbell Chesser. What are you saying about West Coast forward
If this was 2019, I would say, man, what a forward line. Well, I suppose Kennedy would be in it. But Darling was better. Liam Ryan was better back then.
Yeah, Cripps as well.
It's dropped off dramatically the last few years. I don't think Darling... we've got him in a week's time, so Darling will probably kick 6. But, Darling doesn't scare me. Waterman's great.
Yeah.
And he's having a superb season, but it's a 4-game sample. Like, he hasn't done this before. Average.
Yeah.
Like, Larkey, I think, is better than Waterman.
Yeah.
And then
it's probably
the rest are just a little bit old. Like, they were good, but...
I'd probably say... this is tough.
You'd love to...
I would love to put them in poor, but they smashed us like 3 weeks ago, and all of their forwards were having a day out. They also rotate Ali Reid through there. I would say Jake Waterman and Jack Darling as your 2 keys would be like a stock standard, like median forward line.
I agree.
So it's probably scrapes the bottom of an average.
Yeah.
All right. We'll chuck him in average. With a solid midfield, I think we put him last week above Essendon. Essendon have a good forward line. Peter Wright, very underrated.
Yep.
Kyle Langford had a breakout season last year and he's continued that form into this year. Jake Stringer, who's also having a good season. Been criticised in the past of being inconsistent, but I think we're starting to see a more consistent Jake Stringer. Contract year. Harrison Jones. You've got Jade Gresham there now. It's a pretty solid, good forward line.
Peter Wright is a great contributing tall forward.
Yep.
And Jake Stringer, when he's on, is one of the best hybrid forwards in the comp. And then Kyle Langford is now a genuine contributor, but I don't think they're very good.
I wouldn't say very good just yet.
Solid?
Top of solid. The premiership forward line is an interesting one. You've got Brody Myercheck.
This is where Collingwood fans scare me, but yeah.
Brody Myercheck, Jamie Elliott, Bobby Hill, Lockie Schultz, Bo McCreary, Will Hoskin-Elliott drifts down there, but he sort of plays on the wing. Like, I work with a Collingwood fan who avidly says the Collingwood forward line sucks.
I think it does as well. Not method-wise. Like, method-wise,
No.
and Craig McRae's a genius, and they scored a lot last year. Like,
Myercheck and Jamie Elliott are very good.
Yes, I agree. Well, Myercheck's not very good, but he's very good for what he is. Like,
Very solid, yeah.
He's getting the most out of his skill set, and he does contribute every week, and he's very consistent. But he'd never be a top 10 BNF poller for them, would he?
Maybe 10th.
Yeah. Bobby Hill wasn't Bobby Hill until the granny.
Yeah. He's just a moments player though, Bobby Hill. He's like that goal he scored against Carlton last week. Just moments.
And it looks like he could do
moments.
7 of those every game. Like, he's on the verge of doing that.
Schultz hasn't found his feet yet.
And Elliott's pretty handy. I would say like top of solid, bottom of very good is where I would probably have the Pies.
Yeah, I'd probably say they have a solid forward line. And the thing with the Pies is I feel like they get most of their goals from like turnovers from these small forwards like Hill, Schultz, Elliott, bringing pressure and then just sort of getting out the back. Like they're not like big traditional key forwards. They're a bit alternate, the Pies. I would probably go top of solid.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Pies fans, let me know what you think. How do you guys rate your forward line? That's a tricky one, but depending on how you look at it, everyone's going to have a different opinion. GWS, I think, have the best forward line in the competition at this point. Probably. I think Jesse Hogan, right up there in the Coleman. Aaron Cadman starting to find his feet at the AFL level. Toby Green's been a bit quiet this year, but Callum Brown is probably the most underrated key forward in the comp, I reckon. He started to get a bit of recognition, but he has it all. He does it all. He can kick goals, pinpoint accurate from outside 50, big contested mark. Then the small forwards, I haven't even got space for him here. Darcy Jones.
I was going to say Brent Daniels is a freak.
Yep. They've got it all there. They're definitely elite.
Yeah.
But where do you put him in elite?
Man, yeah, just so stacked, so consistent, and they function well. The way Toby Bedford gets up and down the ground as well and spreads the whole field for them when they go quickly, it's insane. Like, you watch sides and when they enter the forward 50, it's so congested and you got to find a needle in the haystack. You watch GWS and they just pop it over the top and walk it in just by their system. So, yeah, it's unbelievable. And I'm stoked that Jesse Hogan's playing the footy that he is.
I would probably say that is the best forward line right up there with Geelong at the moment. Because I think if you look at Hawkins, like that sort of lets them down. Well, not lets them down, but there's no weak spot in this Giants forward line.
Yeah, it's probably the best 6. Like, Geelong might have the best 3. Carlton might have the best 2, maybe.
But all around.
Brisbane might have the best 3 with Cameron. Oh, no, but Hipwood's not as good. Yeah, but I would say this is probably the best 6.
I'm going to chuck the Giants as the best forward line in the comp. And they have one of the best midfields in the comp and probably one of the best defences in the comp. But struggling to perform at the moment. We finished with St Kilda last week, so let's not finish with them again this week. Max King, Tim Membry, Jack Higgins. We got, your Machito Owens running through there, your Philippus. Solid?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We're going average. I think Max King. Talk about a man with potential that could rip any game apart, and then
frustrating.
You walk away from Marvel and he's kicked 2-3 and you go, oh, phew.
2-3, probably 2-6.
Yeah.
Man, he's the most frustrating player to watch have a set shot, man. Still hasn't changed his route. Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
Membry's a sneaky Brody Mychek type. Like, he's someone who is off Broadway, but he contributes somewhat consistently, and he is structurally very important. So I would say Membry's no slouch.
Tim Membry is to what Brody Mychek is for what Cam Zerha is to Jake Stringer.
Clip it. I don't know how I understood that, but I understand that. I understand what you were saying.
Solid.
Yeah.
Probably solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom of solid, I reckon.
Is Max King good? Yeah. Is he good yet?
I don't think he actually is.
So maybe, because in my head I'm like, oh, Max King's sort of like Norton type, like, but maybe he's not good yet.
He's underwhelming.
Maybe he is underwhelming. Maybe it is average. Because if we all sit here today and go Max King is good, I'd have them in solid. But if we sit here right now and go Max King, will be, he's going to develop. But if we're not there yet and he's not quite a good key forward, then it isn't solid.
And then we need to go resume. None of them have anything on their resume.
No BNFs, no All-Australians.
And then functionality, one of the worst scoring sides in the competition. And I'm looking at the Freo forward line. I know I've got bias, but God, I'd much prefer Tracy and Amos over King and Membry. Frederick and Switkowski, yes please.
Yep.
They're average.
Yeah.
We've spoken our way out of solid for the Saints.
It might be average, Ross.
Yeah, it is. It's a Ross Lyon football side that can't score goals, and they are going below Freo. Which leaves us with the Gold Coast Suns. Speaking of King, the other King, it's Ben King.
I don't know about Walter yet. I know Ben King probably has had a better career than Max did, mate.
I'd say that.
I love Ainsworth.
Yeah.
He's like one of the best small, like, contributing high half forward or whatever he is. He's so exciting.
Yeah, I'd probably say average.
Slot him with his brother.
Slot him next to his brother Benny. Maxie and Benny.
Any shuffling?
I think I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. There's nothing that's pointing out to me like, that is wrong. Except for Freo, they should be an elite.
The Pies won the last one and they've got a solid forward line. So the forward line isn't the be-all and end-all. I personally believe defence is important.
Yeah.
And like Geelong's defence is pretty handy. Carlton's defence is very good with Wiedering. Giants have one of the best defences in the comp. So it isn't all dependent on your forward line, but it goes a long way.
Make sure you guys get in the comments write down where we went wrong.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, let us know in the
sure
comments.
they will.
Let us know where you would rank each team. Thank you for joining me, MacDonald.
Thanks for having me, Drews.
We'll be back for more videos very soon. Until then, take care. You plonkers.